right, good evening. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Do roll call, ask Melissa, could you do roll call, please?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Chair Schmidt,
Here.
Vice Chair Crampton. Commissioner Buaya, absent. Commissioner McEwen. Thank you. Commissioner Ono.
Here.
Thank you. Commissioner Sanders. Thank you. And Commissioner Spangler, absent. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. So if Nate's online, I guess we're going to ask him to read the public comment procedure, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Information on participating in this meeting and providing public comment, including remotely by Zoom or telephone, is available on this meeting's agenda, which is online at isearchmonterey.gov. Remote commenters, you will be muted until it is your turn to speak, and a timer will be shown on the screen. If you're connected on Zoom, the timer is accurate with no delay. In the chamber, please keep your phones and devices muted to prevent any audio interference with tonight's meeting. Thank you for participating in your city government.
Thanks, Nate. It looks like we're looking forward to some presentations.
Thank you and good evening, commissioners. Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to do a Parks and Recreation Department update for you for the months of April and May. And go to the next slide. There we go. We'd like to start off with Laguna Grande JPA. We did have a JPA board meeting on April 8th. We also had a crew day where a large majority of Louis staff went out to the park and did some major work. We also did some trail maintenance work. We laid down bark on all of the trails with some volunteers called the Green Cadre. So that was a really big help and made a big difference. We are continuing to work with our consultant, BFS, on the permitting efforts. We've been meeting with them quite often and making progress along with the city of Seaside. We're also doing some grant collaboration with TAMSI and FORTAC. There's been some substantial meetings preparing that application for a very large grant. And of course, there's a very large application that goes with that large grant. And so we've been working jointly with them and making some really great progress. We were also able to get letters of support from our respective cities to also support that application. So we think that'll make it even stronger and gives a better chance of getting funding. We'd like to include the gap closure project, the bridge over there on Fremont with that funding as well. We completed the NCIP lighting project, so that was really exciting. That was a long time coming, so that is now done. And the CDBG project is underway. That was the $100,000 grant we got from CDBG, and it's working on putting a walkway and some benches around the volleyball court, some informational kiosks. We're actually pouring some cement and making a second picnic area, different things like that. So I think it'll be really exciting and very beautiful when it's all done. We did have our first program that we did jointly with the Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District. It was beginning birding on May 16th. That class was full, and we have more programs coming up later this summer. Next slide. Thank you. Old Capital Site Master Plan. This is just a quick update of where we are right now. We've been doing community engagement, and we had a meeting on April 23rd to review the survey results and the current plan status. We launched a second survey in May, and that just closed on June 7th. So the consultants now are working on compiling and analyzing that information and putting together the plans that will be coming to you for review and input. It'll be a session that you probably won't have to vote that day. It'll just be gathering all the input and all the information. Then we'll have another session with you where you can actually vote on a recommendation for City Council. And then we will go to City Council for final approval at that point. Louis is not here today, so I will give a quick update for him. That is another picture of the work that's happening at Laguna Grande. We did plant 127 plants, abated 67 gophers, prepped athletic fields. 45 transient camp removals. We coordinated volunteer cleanups with the Blue Zone, Save Our Shores, and Big Sur Cannabis, and also did substantial weed control and fuel reduction citywide. That was a major effort the last 2 months. Like as soon as the rain stops, we really like to try and get in there. And we did have, again, Green Cadre was a big help in helping us tackle as many weeds as possible. We finalized the NCIP project and installed artificial turf at Spray Avenue. It has been very well received and very popular. People seem to really like how it's turned out. In case you get any questions, it is artificial turf, but the cushion material is green sand. So it's not going to be recycled tires or anything like that. So just wanted to let you know that it is a safe infill. We installed the new drinking fountain and relocated irrigation at Laguna Grande, added new wood chips at Dennis Menace Playground, fertilized San Carlos Park and Window on the Bay, and prepped all the parks for summer camps, including Camp Kensabe setup at Toro Park. Very big task. We really thank Louis and his team for all of that. And paint and repairs at the Sensory Garden and Veterans Park. Forestry operations, believe it or not, we're still having a lot of ongoing efforts from the winter storm events and major fuel reduction. We've had 960 CAL FIRE CDF crew hours for greenbelt maintenance on Don Davi Old Capitol site and reestablishing old fire roads at the old Capitol site. Apparently we did so much fuel reduction that we found more fire roads that we didn't even know existed at the time. And I think even an old gate. So we're working with the consultant on all of that. And what does that mean for CEQA and those types of things? Monterey County Green Cadre participant assisted with trash pickup, weed eating, and spreading wood chips at 3 sites. We mentioned that. Tree inspections, 67 tree removal permits, pruned or removed 347 trees. 47 of those were on the Presidio, and we planted 20 trees. We did that with Arbor Day with Trinity High School and completed the DLI semi-annual tree report. And that's a pretty hefty report, so we appreciate Tice and Mike's effort on that. And now we're going to the Recreation Division.
So Recreation Division incorporates all of those different divisions, accounts, special events and camps, programs, field sports for youth and adults, El Estero, Park Center, Hilltop, Schulte, and Casanova Oak Knoll. And that's our kind of our marketing best summer ever. For fiscal year 23, we will have this information soon. For fiscal year 24, we offered 357 programs with just under 32,000 participants registrations. That means that's just people who've registered. That is not actual program attendance. Some people might attend a program once, but in general, most programs have, 4 sessions, 10 games. So that's just registrations. We're seeing program demand back in greater than March 2020 levels. Overall cost recovery is up since 2019 across all Recreation Division accounts and centers. Hilltop, El Estero field sports continue to exceed revenue projections. As of May 31st, El Estero is at 93.2% of revenue that was projected for fiscal year 24. Hilltop is at 128.9. Field sports is at 113% of revenue projections. So everyone is doing a very good job. And in general, though, rec admin, special programs and events, which is our summer camps, Schulte are all still doing better than pre-COVID. So compared to 2019, actual revenue is only down by 42,000, but our expenditures are just under 500,000 less, and we are costing the general fund about 450,000 less. And we're doing this with 9.75 staff versus 15.25 for fiscal year 19. And again, we're really are at capacity. In general, we are offering, I would say 3.5 facilities if you consider Casanova not being open. Casanova is open on a program and event basis, but not on a daily basis just for people to walk in. And we have 11 outdoor program sites, including we go as far as Toro Park with the county. So program hours are minimally 160 hours a week during our non-busy months. And then during May, June, July, we're at 420 program hours a week. And this is program hours. This is just offering services and programs, camps, those type of things. It's not including any administrative time that it takes to do all of these things for the recreation team. So that's done by about 9.75 full-timers. If you look at that, about 5 full-timers working 40 hours a week, it's a significant reduction in the number of hours of staff time that we have to get the job done. So that is a challenge for us. So we do offer lots of programs, and some of our programs are in our parks and communities. And one area where we have really tried to focus is not just the Casanova Oak Knoll neighborhood, but the Via Del Monte and the Laguna Grande and the and that what we can kind of say North Monterey, like headed towards Seaside. So one event that we just did was our partnership with the Monterey Library, My Museum, and Kona Ice, and it's a fun in the park with STEAM. It was on Saturday, May 11th. From the last event, which averaged about 150 people, we had over 300 in attendance. It's multi-generational. It's free, low stress program for the community. A lot of people just walk. We're building relationships while also working within our capacity to offer a great experience. And we hope to continue and have a date set at this point for September. So we kind of do one in September and one in May of every year, and just keep continuing to grow because it just seems to be a very popular program and a wonderful park to program at. So we also focus heavily on community outreach and events, and that may be us going to someone else's event, or it could be us offering an event. So we went to both the CSUMB and Monterey High School career fairs. We also were at the Del Monte Center for the Monterey Bay Parent Summer Camp Expo. We partnered with the library for a story walk at El Estero Park in May, and that's where we put a story on if you walk around Lake El Estero, there is a page to every story as you walk. And then you turn around and you come back. And then we're there with the bookmobile, the new bookmobile, and our pop-up canopy and other activities for the kids. So it's a nice outdoor event. We also did some boards and commissions outreach because we do have vacancies coming up. As of July 1, there's some vacancies on the Parks and Rec Commission. And then we also attended 2 school resource fairs, one for the Dual Language Academy, which is kind of on the border of Monterey and Seaside. And we also went to the Gavlin View School in Salinas to market there as well, because we do have Camp Kinsabi, and Camp Kinsabi's on county property at Toro Park. And we really need to market to not just Monterey, but all of Monterey, and try and get North County and South County participants as well. So that was just our April-May outreach. So for summer, we'll have a bigger update once after summer is over. That was today. Monterey Fire came to Whispering Pines Day Camp. So we're offering more camp programs than we did pre-COVID, and our enrollment is exceeding previous summers. Some of our programs are still rebuilding from COVID, but in general, most programs are back to COVID-19 levels. We have full camps already. Tiny Tots for 3 to 5-year-olds is full. All of our art camps are full, gymnastics, woodworking, all of our beginning beach volleyball. Our Via Paraiso playground site is completely full. We also have strong enrollment for Hilltop. Camp Kinsabi, like I said, not this coming week is week 1. Week 2, we're back at 80, and that's pre-COVID numbers for our overnight camp. Whispering Pines Day Camp is also going very strong. Lego, field sports, those programs are really not full, but close to being full. One area that has a little bit of a lower enrollment at this point is just our Casanova Oaknell program site. That used to be historically our most attended program, and we're kind of seeing a change in the neighborhood since COVID. So that's one thing that is not as full, but we continue to offer it. It's just our Hilltop and our Via Paraiso sites are actually double or triple the enrollment. So just a thing we're noticing. So youth field sports was one of the first programs that came back post-COVID, and they have just continued. We actually can't keep up with demand. So we had our Youth Fitness Day, which is always a wrap up to track and field. Attendance was about 600 to 700 people. And this time it was at Seaside High School because we got rained out at MPC. So we had to reschedule and we went to Seaside High. And it was a collaboration with the cities of Marina, PG, that's Community Partnership for Youth, Presidio, Boys and Girls Club of Monterey County, North County Rec, and All Saints Day School. They all brought their track and field participants, and we had a day. We have launched the following camp programs for summer. So it's flag football, basketball, Challenger International Soccer, beach volleyball, and track and field. We've also added our youth baseball clinics for summer, and those actually have, once we offered one, the people have now re-enrolled because they really enjoyed it. So that's a good sign. And so far we've had 2 weeks. We're in our second week of Challenger International Soccer, which is, we have international coaches coming from Great Britain and Australia, and they come and teach. And beach volleyball is on also its second week, and they're full with people wanting to get off the wait list, and we just don't have enough instructors for that. So what's next? We are already planning for Pee Wee and youth soccer, and I believe that registration's available online. So parents are already asking for what's next, and we're like, we're not even done with summer. We haven't started, but here we are. So yes, things are going very well, just very busy. And then our adult sports continues to grow. We have a smaller number of adult leagues during the spring because Monterey High School and Pony are also using the fields with baseball and softball. So we have a weekend softball league. In the summer, we go back. We're at 54 teams, which is more than last summer. We have men's co-rec and women's softball. And women's softball this is the first summer of just women's softball. So have 3 teams is good, and we're going to continue to build from that. But overall, we have more teams than last summer. What's next? Well, again, we'll have 30 and over baseball and a fall league. So then moving on, that is actually a photo from this summer's woodworking camp. So our enrollment is strong in our youth programs: dancing, fencing, piano, preschool. Gymnastics is full with a wait list. Saturday gymnastics is full, which we just added those a couple of months ago. Gymnastics camp, art camp, woodworking camp, those are full. Lego camps are filling up, but going really well. And again, we're able to offer more than one program at these centers because of the available space. And that's why we maximize our programming and our staffing, is we can be at one place and do multiple things at a time. Hilltop, that is a photo from our piano recital. So we have piano lessons, they're ongoing, but those are some of our piano recital students. So we just had that back in May. So we're full for piano and guitar lessons. Our adult ceramics is full with a wait list. Blood drives, preschool, our Tiny Tots summer camp is also full. Really strong enrollment for our Pilates, our ballet, Monday morning stories, theater for kids. We're now offering a new improv class, our theater for kids instructors teaching improv. We're focusing on enrollment for next preschool year. We're adding an advanced ceramics class as well as youth ceramics workshops, and our ceramics room is in the process of getting some updates. We just had the electrician out, so we have now been able to pull more voltage so we can get another kiln that's going to be delivered before June 30th. More power, exactly. So our ceramics program is just very popular. It keeps us busy 3 nights a week. Well, actually more than 3 nights a week, but and our ceramics instructor is amazing. She has a master's in ceramics. So this is just, if you follow us on Instagram, you can see the kind of artwork that our students are putting out. It's just amazing. So Hilltop is going very well. Current programs at Schulte, we have a lot of programs that are ongoing, and they may be fee-based or they could be free, but includes watercolor, drawing and painting, Tai Chi, ceramics, sewing, Qigong, bridge. We also offer a Meals on Wheels program, and we served almost 1,100 meals in 2 months. We also partner with the food bank for Monterey County to have produce distribution. So about 1,100 seniors were served. It's open to anyone, but we market it as seniors. So fresh produce, strawberries, all kinds of great, yummy things. We also were able to offer 2 trips for our first trips back from COVID. So they had a trip to the DeYoung Museum and a trip to Sausalito. And we're looking forward to more of those in the fall, including some special events. We have a senior prom in June, which is one of the few things that have, not a few things, but one of the things that is now finally returning is our special events for our seniors and also our adults who require accommodations. So we're very excited about that. And one thing, we just went to a workshop today and we realized that 31% of the population of Monterey is over 55. And in 10 years, about 40% of the population in Monterey will be over the age of 55. So we're serving seniors in many ways, whether that's fee-based or free, or also having the Alliance on Aging there, AARP, Medicare counseling, ombudsman, those type of things. So as the population of Monterey ages, we're going to see a greater demand for the services offered at Schulte, whether they're revenue or free or, in collaboration with others. So. And then Castle McNoll is open based on our program schedule. We've hosted MPD trainings. Our old Capitol site outreach has been there. We've had Monterey undergrounding meetings. Bookmobile continues to stop there once a week. We hosted a Spring into Wellness event with Blue Zones and the Sports Center, and that's one of our lovely Zumba instructors teaching Zumba in the park. We also had Pilates instructor there, and we had a large group of seniors from the neighborhood come and take the Pilates class. Currently, we have the Summer Fun Playground program there. It runs from June 10th through August 2nd, Monday through Friday from 9 to 4. And that is one fee for the entire 8 weeks. So it works out to be a very affordable option for families who need like childcare during the summer. That's kind of been what our playground program has always been, is an affordable childcare option for the summer. And then what's next, we are going to continue with the playground program, and we already are working with Blue Zones again for a healthy senior meals workshop in August. So what's next for recreation? We want to have the best summer ever. That's our marketing. That's Nate has been telling all of our staff that. That is a picture of our camp counselors on a hike. They're training at Toro Park this week, and they have to go on all the hikes because they are taking those kids on very long, even an overnight hike at Toro Park. So we really utilize all 5,000 acres of Toro Park. That's a great county and city partnership. What we also need to do is work on telling our story and marketing. I think sometimes we do a really good job marketing to the public and telling them when our events are and what we're going to do and where to be, because we see our attendance and have no issues with program attendance. But I think we also need to tell our story better when it comes to decision makers and the community, and just so they understand how much we actually do and how that impacts the people who live, work, and visit here. We are hopefully looking at some facility improvements. I'm not exactly sure where the ranking is, but it looks like Hilltop Park Center is going to get some NCIP funding to address some of the issues there. It isn't a final solution. It also isn't a final approved project because NCIP voted, but there hasn't been a full tally yet. So we know that there's a lot of things that need to be done at Hilltop, and this is a very good start. We also potentially could, I'm not exactly sure where they ranked, but we did have projects for Jackson Solicito Field improvements. And then another focus will also be El Estero Park Center improvements in the next, hopefully, budget cycle. We wanted to start with Hilltop because it had the most pressing needs in terms of needing roof improvements and, you know, kind of to slow the decay before it became a bigger issue. But El Estero also needs some tender loving care. So hopefully we'll be seeing that. I think we're excited to get some of those things moving. We are still looking at expansion of program offerings based on staff capacity and budget. And again, that's going to have to be a very careful decision because we are so busy year round. It seems like even more so now. I mean, I just was out the planning out at Toro Park, and I had to meet with the county planning department to get the pool approved. And then I had to meet with the county health department to get a pool inspection approved. And so there's so much that is involved in what we do. I don't think that that's truly realized is like, we're doing public works projects, we're training staff, we are getting everyone's food safe certified, we're all of the things, we're getting a pool inspection, we're, you know, pulling permits with our building official to get electrical done at Hilltop. It's just, there's a lot involved to get everything done. So again, expansion of our program offerings is just going to have to be based on what we can do and the budget and the support we get. One thing we as a team talk about a lot is what is essential, what do we have to do, what is a nice to do, and also really managing needs versus wants. Does someone really need this service? Is it helping them? Is it, you know, helping a senior who's struggling on Social Security make ends meet? Is it helping a family like at the sports center, water safety? Is it a need versus something I just really, really want? And just also understanding the true demand for a service, because we've found through some of our surveys and different things that there's a demand or someone requesting a service, but they actually wouldn't register. They, like, for instance, I want preschool, but I no longer have children preschool age. I don't even have grandchildren preschool age. Like I want something, but am I going to utilize it and do I need it? And so that's the thing we're trying to manage. And then one other thing we've been talking about for some time is just looking at everything from the lens of what is the best for the majority of people. So a very simple customer service delivery fee philosophy, which we're hoping to move forward at some point, is for the good of all, for the good of some, and for the good of one. So putting our services into those that serve the majority of the community, pricing those in a way that's affordable for the good of some. Maybe there is a little more fee-based, or maybe we have to be a little more careful on what we offer. And then for the good of one, is that something we can accommodate? And it really, if it's going to benefit just one individual or a small group of individuals, then maybe that isn't something we need to put so much effort into. You know, so we're kind of seeing that, you know, there might be a want or a need for something, but is it really just going to serve an individual or a small group of people? So telling that story across really all divisions is important, because there's just such a demand in every division that we're parks, you know, sports center, everything. How to communicate that to I think we do a good job of telling you guys, but telling the general public and also other stakeholders and decision makers what is our challenges. So that I think is it for recreation. Karen has got a lot to add, and then she's going to update the sports center.
Okay, we'll dive into the Sports Center next. Bill's not here at the moment, so I'll just jump in and share the information that I know. Our memberships have been increasing every single week, every single month. We're giving a lot of tours. I was there one day and 3 tours were going on at the same time. So that was really exciting. So we're up to over 7,800 members and we're nearing pre-pandemic levels. So we're really excited about that. And we're up to 10,520 weekly visitors. What's new? So if you haven't been there in the last month or so, we have a new weight room with new weight room equipment opened on May 6th, and it's been tremendously popular. Of course, you always have people here and there who had like their favorite machine that they've been using forever. But really, it has been very well received. The complaints have been very minimal. It's basically more about, I miss my favorite machine more so than everything that's new. We do have another piece of equipment that we're still waiting for, but it's coming hopefully by the middle of the month. And so we're very excited about that. We're able to accommodate more users at one time with this layout. Another thing that we've been getting a lot of requests for have been snacks and beverages. And with our capacity and our staffing levels, that's been something that's very challenging to bring back. There's a lot more that goes into a cafe than some people imagine, everything from customer service to money handling, payment card industry requirements, health department requirements, and things like that. So we did do some pop-up cafes, and we also had like a little pop-up cafe for sports camp because kids really wanted snacks when they're there for 8 or 9 hours a day. To help us tide us over until we're able to bring back some of those cafe services, we have added a vending machine out front, and it's in that little alcove where the payphones and the Coke machines used to be. And so far, it's been very well received. And also to help with the capacity at the front desk, we've also added things like goggles and locks and towels and things like that. So that frees up people to do more customer service regarding program registration or tours and that type of thing, rather than goggles. And so they can just go ahead and go to the vending machine and get that. So that's brand new. We'll see how that works out. Next is a new cardio sculpt group exercise class that will be offered on Thursdays at 4:15. We are getting a very, very booked schedule and our classes are booming. I don't know if you guys have seen any lately. I should have put a picture of one of the classes in there too, but I went in and saw a yoga class and everyone was laying down on the mat and it was literally wall to wall people taking yoga. Zumba is extremely popular. I mean, the classes are really just booming. So we're very excited about that. Sports programs and camps. Martial arts enrollment is averaging about 40 per session, which is very good. Homeschool PE is averaging, has about 20 enrolled. Youth volleyball participants are up to 60 for May. I've seen some adorable pictures with that too. There's been some really great feedback about youth volleyball and the coaches that we have. Women's basketball is up to 45 participants. That was a new league that we had started this year. And we are full enrollment for sports camp. We are busting at the seams. I think if we had more staff, we could even take more children. So it's extremely popular. Group exercise and personal training. We sold 67 personal training packages in April and May with 1,208 sessions provided. 606 group exercise classes offered with over 15,000 total participants, and a Pilates hybrid averaging 50 people per class. Community engagement, the Sports Center, we have a very small team there, but we are trying to get out into the community and do different things as well, so that we can, again, co-market with the recreation division. We went to the Monterey Peninsula College Health Fair, the Monterey's Farmers Market, and Monterey Bay Parent Summer Camp Expo at Del Monte Center. Sometimes we are marketing for memberships. Sometimes we're just talking about all our programs. Sometimes we're looking for staff. And we also did something that we haven't done in a really long time, and that was sober graduation for Monterey High School. So Bill was there from 9 o'clock at night until 5 the next morning. It was very popular. The parents did an amazing job. We couldn't have done it without all the parents who helped chaperone and decorate. There was so much food. They were sending home kids with like trays and trays of food. They had plenty of food left over. So that was a really great event. Sports Center Aquatics, we had 80 group swim lessons provided in April and May, 363 participants with a wait list of 199, 21 private group swim reservations, sports camp rec swim when they had 90 students who would swim. And we also served some groups like Special Olympics, therapeutic classes, multiple sclerosis classes, Navy postgraduate school training, senior classes, Monterey Fire Department training, California Junior Guards, Monterey Bay Aquarium, and Hopkins diver training. It's really important to Tony that we tell that story, that we service all different types of groups day in and day out. So it just shows how integral our swimming pool is to the entire community and the entire peninsula. For the Sports Center, so what's next? We're continuing to focus on our summer programs and camps. Right now, it looks like we have good, strong enrollment for the whole summer. Montage Health Series partnership, we are so close. I was hoping I could announce it to you guys today officially, but we're working on a partnership with Montage Health to offer a health series. We'll have a series of workshops and programs and health services. And so we're looking forward to announcing that. I was hoping to do that on our anniversary, which was June 1st. But we're really close to having that done. They are just as excited as we are. So we're hoping to have at least 5 events that we do with them in the coming very near future. The natatorium project, we are moving closer with that. We've been working closely with the engineering division and public works department. We're hopeful that it's going to start in August, but I will know more next month. It will be a significant project. It will be we could be closed 6 to 8 weeks while we work on that. That will be replastering both pools. That would mean draining the pools, replastering both of them, resurfacing the whole pool deck, including the restrooms and the guard room. And I want to do some painting and some other repairs. And Bill and I would really like it to be really decked out with the new stuff if we can. So like when you come back, it's like really coming back new and fresh with new guard chairs, possibly even new saunas. So we're putting all that together, and we're hoping that's going to come together this fall. If not, we'll have to wait till spring or the next fall, but because the water table there, I don't know if you guys know, but if we drain the pool and the water table is not the appropriate amount, it could actually bust up through the pool and damage the pool. Water could come through. So we have to time it just right with the weather and the water table. Sun deck upgrades, we're using our Prop 68 grant money to add some new awnings to cover the new doors that we got on the front side of the natatorium that looks at the front of the building, as well as the sun deck. And we also are adding a few more awnings that we can pull out that we hope we can have birthday parties under. So more than just having a 10 by 10 tent, that we could actually pull out multiple awnings so that we can line up tables and stuff under there. So we think that will be more desirable for the public and the party goers, as well as the staff that needs to set up the parties each day. We are very close to launching an RFP for a cafe provider. We'd like someone to come in and actually offer those cafe services for us, whether it's like a licensing agreement where they will maybe have a revenue sharing or they pay rent, that type of thing. So we're putting together that RFP. We're hoping we can launch that this summer and actually maybe have somebody in by fall or no later than Christmas is what I would hope. But sooner is always better. We get really anxious to get things going, but there's just a lot of processes that we have to go through. We're also working on Kids Zone programming. We've really found that providing actual babysitting is going to be a challenge in this climate with a shortage of people who are able to offer babysitting and the cost of providing that service. And also now that pre-K and TK preschool basically are going to be offered through the school system for like 8 hours a day. That really narrows the age group of the students. So Bill and I have been reaching out to places like Parents Place or My Museum to see if we could partner with them, or perhaps get instructors that will come and do like a mommy and me or parent and me movement class, or kids Zumba, reading and dancing story time, those types of things, to see if we can at least offer some early childhood programming, even for children as young as 1 and 2 years old, before they go to that preschool and they're gone all day at preschool. So we're checking that out. We're trying to work as many angles as we can to see if we can bring something in for that demographic. And I couldn't resist, but I did. I know it was June 1st and this report was supposed to be for April and May, but I put a picture of Leslie and Lynn with our balloons for our 32nd anniversary at the Monterey Sports Center. That was on Monday, June 1st. We had an event that day and we had over 1,000 people come to the Sports Center that day. So that was great. And then you also have Sarah there on one of the great outings that they did with the Golden 55 Travelers, and then Dominic doing a tree planting. So at this point, we are open to any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Shannon. Wow, I missed one meeting and that feels like that was a year's worth of info, and good on you for getting all that out to us. But yeah, I'm gonna call on Nat and open it up for public comments.
Thank you. The process for receiving public comments are as follows. Speakers need to be identified prior to public comment. If you would like to make a public comment, and again, this is on the presentation that you just saw, if you could please identify yourself by standing or raising your hand. We have allotted a total of 15 minutes for public comment on this item. Melissa, how many public speakers do we have?
No public comment? Nobody?
Confirm no public comment?
For this section? Oh, okay. No, okay. No public comment, Nate.
And let me check online. And we have no public comment online for this item.
All right, looks like public comments are now closed. Guess the next thing on my agenda is approval of the minutes. Yeah, sure.
About the field sports and stuff, are the Amberjacks done? Are they coming back?
They're not here this year.
Okay.
There's the potential that they could be back next year, but that's something that has to be worked through in terms of a contract and insurance. But also, you know, I don't know how much there's a lot of challenges. So like we can definitely use that field with or without the Amberjacks, because there is so much.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So it's working through that. And if they can meet our requirements and we can fit them in, and also going back to like what is essential and what's the need and demand is like community Monterey should have priority versus an outside organization from.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay.
So something we'll see.
All right. Guess gonna call for approval of minutes from the Parks Commission meeting. Ask if there is any other questions. If there's a motion that one would want to make.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second.
Vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comments. This time, any person may address the Parks and Recreation Commission concerning an item that is not on the agenda. I'll remind you that you have 3-minute time rule. Nate, would you call the process?
Yes, thank you, Chair Schmidt. If you would like to make a general public comment, This is for items that are not on this agenda. Please identify yourself if you're in the council chambers by standing or raising your hand. We have allotted a total of 15 minutes for public comment. Melissa, how many public speakers do we have?
Nate, we have 6 in the chamber that want to give a public comment. So if we have 6, each member is allowed 2 minutes and 50 seconds for their public comment because we have a 15-minute session.
Thank you. So if the first speaker could please approach the podium, and there will be a timer that will show on the screen.
Hello. Evening, Commissioners. My name is Peter Barrage, and I am the Communications and Outreach Chair for the Monterey Off-Road Cycling Association. I'm here to make public comment about the Old Capitol Site project. As the mountain bike advocacy organization, you guys hear me there? For Monterey County, MORCA builds a bridge between local conservation and recreation interests. Since 2006, we have been a trusted partner in trail stewardship with local government and land agencies. MORCA seeks your support in advocating for a safe and dedicated park space for bike riders of all ages and ability levels. The Old Capitol Site is the ideal setting for a bike park. Situated near a bike path along Munros Avenue and along a safe cycling corridor on Iris Canyon Road, the Old Capitol Site could tie into a green conservation and recreation corridor leading all the way to El Estero Park and the Monterey Recreation Trail. Most importantly, this location would allow kids and families to ride safely from their homes in Monterey and beyond. When the city survey gathered community input for the Old Capitol Site, biking ranked as the most popular activity next to walking and hiking. However, bikes are prohibited from all trails and dirt roads in Monterey City parks. We hope the city can move past this exclusionary mindset and give bikes the dedicated space they deserve. MORCA proposes using less than 1/3 of the Old Capitol Site for bike features and trails that coexist with the natural environment. Research shows that when trails are properly planned and designed, mountain bikers have no more impact on the natural environment than hiking. Most mountain bikers are courteous and responsible trail users, and the sport is more popular than ever, especially among kids. Even the Sierra Club has written about the community benefits of mountain biking. Bike parks and trail systems close to home are giving communities across California and our nation the social, health, and economic benefits most municipalities seek, with minimal investment. In addition to providing a safe space for beginner and advanced riders, bike parks foster stewardship, community connection, youth empowerment, improved bike safety, skills enhancement, and even a boost to tourism. Dedicated bike parks, bike trails also reduce trail user conflicts in other areas. Funding, planning, building, and maintenance resources for mountain biking are stronger than ever. A review of community bike park initiatives would show that local advocacy groups like MORCA are conduits to national and state resources and valuable thought partners for cities and counties. Across the country, the mountain bike community is renowned for being an engaged partner with a powerful volunteer force that helps fund, build, and maintain trails for the benefit of all trail users. MORCA's proposal supports all stated goals and priorities for the Old Capitol Site project. Our region is rich in hiking-only trails. Monterey has an opportunity to work with a willing partner in MORCA to create a unique, new park space for residents and visitors, a space where bikes belong. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Hello, Commissioners. My name is Mike McGurr, and I'm here to address the Old Capitol Site. As a former president of the Monterey Off-Road Cycling Association, MORCA, I'm submitting public comment regarding the Old Capitol Site Master Plan. As MORCA, we like to say that we build more than trails. We build a bridge between conservation and recreation. In collaboration with land managers and local government, MORCA has worked for the benefit of all trail users since 2006. In just the past year, MORCA completed construction of a 50-foot bridge on the Fort Ord National Monument, built with more than 500 MORCA volunteer hours and $100,000 in grant funding that included the bridge and other projects. Additionally, we worked with Monterey County to fund and install much-needed restrooms at one of the county's busiest trailheads. I share these recent examples to demonstrate that MORCA's work benefits all trail users, not just mountain bikers. We recognize that the Old Capitol site plan is not on the commission's June 12th agenda, so we thank you for your time. Bikes were somewhat misrepresented in the April 23rd meeting when results for the first two Capitol site surveys were summarized for the public. That's why we're commenting today to engage the Parks and Recreation Department and the Commission in making informed, equitable, and appropriate decisions about the Old Capitol site plan you will choose to support later this summer. Based on the 221 survey respondents, biking was ranked as the most popular activity next to hiking and walking. However, the popularity of biking was omitted entirely from the survey summary. Instead, bikes were unfairly cast in a negative light because of 18 out of the 221 survey responses chose bikes as activities not desired. This landed bikes at number 5 in the not desired list behind pollution, fires, and barbecues and camping and environmental impacts. And again, there was no mention of biking popularity as demonstrated by the survey respondents. As a result, bike-friendly features were not included in any of the initial plan concepts prepared by BFS Landscape Architecture. On behalf of Monterey's cycling community, that was a significant setback and a missed opportunity at a crucial step in the public input and planning process. That said, we don't want to focus on.
Thank you so much for your public
about
comment.
that.
So sorry, we just have to get through everyone. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tatsugawa, and I also represent Monterey Off-Road Cycling Association, MORCA. I'm currently serving on the board of directors. I'm also a resident of the city of Monterey. I live about 1.5 miles from the Old Capitol site, and I'm also an avid mountain biker and a retired professor in adventure education. Some things I'd like to point out is that MORCA has worked with city parks before. Gloria Jean Tate Pump Track in Marina, California, which just opened a few months ago, was a MORCA sponsored project. And in addition, I realized that the surveys, much like the previous speaker spoke about, that when conducting surveys, sometimes for various reasons, some respondents didn't get a chance to answer the survey. And that's one reason why we're here, is to be a vocal voice, be a voice for the mountain biking community. We've talked to other folks in the mountain biking community, and from what we understand, there have been a strong response from both Monterey City and surrounding areas for the survey that was just recently closed. Some other things that I'd like to point out are that I realize that mountain bikers have garnered a bad reputation through the decades, but organizations such as MORCA have been working with land management agencies such as the BLM to build trails for fire mitigation as well as recreational use, and also working on courtesy and the manners of mountain bikers and sponsoring programs to ensure that those type of things occur. Lastly, I'd like to point out that there's other examples of parks, such as the Briones Park pilot project at Briones Regional Park in Martinez, California, that have managed to work with different stakeholders, the hikers, mountain bikers, and equestrian, as well as places like Bentonville, Arkansas, that has managed to build many mountain bike specific trails. And there are also examples of bike parks in Truckee, bike parks in Bend, Oregon, and Boulder, Colorado are also some of the standout bike parks. So in closing, I'd like to thank you all for your time and for your consideration for including bike trails and a bike park at the site. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your public comment.
Wow, what a way to be outnumbered. Good evening, I'm Lee Whitney from the neighborhood. Representing the Old Capitol Project. Nice to see you guys. Good article. However, the park is not a playground. It's a sanctuary for nature and for humans that'll accept nature on its own terms, not just another hill to test your challenge to yourself or to your bike. Bikers don't always stay on the path. There's always one that veers off that sees something or has to kind of show off in there. That goes to endanger all the species that are in there, such as the bobcats and coyotes and larger. Trust me, I've seen them. They kind of meander in my neighborhood. It also endangers the plants and the trees that are on the endangered list. And there is an archaeological, I didn't say that word right, area in the park area there. No bikes. We know walkers and bikers don't play well, as the rec park is a perfect example with getting each other's way in there. The last thing I'd like to remind everyone that this is a closed park. And if you want to make a tour, please call the police department and they will escort you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment.
My name is Barbara Wind. I'm a Monterey resident. I've lived on the peninsula about 50 years. I live adjacent to where the old Capitol site is all being proposed. I'm a longtime walker, and my friends and I used to walk Iris Canyon Road all the time. We'd park behind La Mirada, walk the road. It is now not safe to walk on that road. I see that Monterey is doing a lot to try and build berms and, do some flora and fauna and all that, very nice. But the fact remains that I cannot walk there safely because of people camping in the woods, congregating and staring at us. It's really changed in the last just couple of years. I work on Munross Avenue, and we used to be, we are across from that open space there, where there used to be issues with people. And I think a lot of those people may have migrated to that Iris Canyon area. What worries me is I can't walk in my own neighborhood. Now I have to get in a car and drive to walk. And the other thing that worries me is this old Capitol site is being proposed as something for families, visitors, whomever, to go and enjoy. How are they going to be able to enjoy it if they can't feel safe? And I don't know what the city of Monterey is planning to do to, protect the site and make it safe for visitors and people. But I think that should be a major consideration. And I also think that whole little Iris Canyon, which is a wonderful area to walk, should also be looked at as somewhere that maybe we can improve that. I know there's been a no camping sign put up, and I think that's fine and good, but I feel bad about it because it adjoins where I live, and I literally have to get in a car and drive to Carmel Valley or somewhere there to walk now because I'll walk. I had a friend whose car was broken into at Jack's Peak. One day we were followed to Jack's Peak. I mean, it's not like it used to be. And I'm not putting that on all of you. I'm just saying it should be a consideration. If all of this money is being spent on this old Capitol site and on beautifying Iris Canyon Road, I'd like to see that the other is considered too. But thank you very much. I just came to say my piece.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Taylor Merritt. I'm a Monterey resident and avid mountain biker. I've been a mountain bike coach for adults and kids for the last 3 years across the US and Canada. I used to run Epicenter cycling in town, work for Captain and Stoker now. We're pretty involved in the bike scene. And I've been involved with Marca. I just want to speak quickly on the Capitol site proposal. Just to address a couple things, I think absolutely, it is true that mountain bikers tend to veer off trail when there are no dedicated spaces for us. If you build places and trails that are dedicated, where we don't have to worry about hikers and horses and excuse me, dogs and kids running around, we ride those trails. When there's dedicated features like berms and jumps and stuff that we don't have to worry about other trail users, and we know it's directional, it should be safe for us to be able to work on our skills, we'll use those trails. People veer off trails and such when there aren't trails that are inspiring for them to ride or dedicated. The only times I veer off trails are when I got to get out of the way because a hiker's coming around a bend. So I just want to endorse that plan to involve mountain biking, as we don't have dedicated mountain bike trails here. I think it's certainly safer for all trail users when there are dedicated spaces where we can work on improving our skills, and do some education around etiquette for all trail users and that kind of thing. Yeah, I urge you to think about mountain bike specific stuff, especially with this plan. I think it would be a really appropriate use of some of that space. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your public comment. And public comment is now closed.
All right. Guess I'm gonna call on Shannon. Is that where I'm at? Receive report of commissioner appointment process and select chair and vice chair. I'm calling you, Shannon.
This usually is not a difficult or time-consuming agenda item. Basically, what's happened is the city council several years ago made some changes to boards and commissions. They switched commissions from 2-year appointments to 4-year appointments, and they also switched it from like calendar year to the fiscal year. So every July 1st, we have to have a new chair and vice chair, and they serve for a year. And then the following year, the vice chair becomes the chair. And so going through the rotation process based on who is on the commission, has been on the commission for at least 1 full year, and has not served as chair before. This year would be Sid Crampton would be the chair for this coming fiscal year, and Justin Ono would be the vice chair for this fiscal year. And then, of course, next year you'd be the chair. So it's kind of like making a commitment now to serve for a year and, in your case, 2 years. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish, is to appoint a chair and vice chair so that when we meet in July, which is, I think the plan is to have a July meeting, we will have a new chair and vice chair. But I would also like to acknowledge Christian for serving as chair. We meet usually every 2 to 3 months, but we appreciate you being our chair and attending our meetings, and also a lot of our outreach and other events. So we've seen you there. So we definitely
It was an
appreciate
honor.
your service. So that is basically the agenda item. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. I think we do have to go through the public comment options and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
I would like to make a quick comment, because we're here to serve you guys and we appreciate your comments. You might not have gotten enough time to speak all of your comments, but I want to say that we have them in writing. So write, call, present yourself publicly. It's why we're all here, right? To listen to you and hear what you propose to us. So appreciate that engagement.
Can I ask you a question?
Go
Yes.
for it.
What about us that are up for a new term? Did that already go to council? Do we know? Because I didn't.
We don't know for sure, but we're hoping that the tradition of reappointing parks, commissioners continues. So we know that the city council is going to be looking at appointing on June 18th, I think, is the next council meeting. No, yeah, so we'll have a better idea. So we're hoping that, the vote will stand, but if it doesn't for some reason, then we would have to come back in July and shift things around again. But we're hoping that we do have a vacancy. Lacey for sure will not be
Oh,
continuing with us. Lacey, yeah. I know. Yeah. So there is going to be some shifting of the commission, but we're also hoping that those of you who reapplied are reappointed. So, yeah.
All right. Guess if there's any commissioners that have anything they'd like to discuss or final comments,
do we just take a vote or how's it work?
vote is next. Public comments.
Yeah.
So the public wishes to comment on the matter. Doesn't look like there's any comments. If there are no more public comments, public comments are now closed. And now I can return to commissioners for questions, discussion, and final comments. So
Regarding our,
anything, yeah,
or just anything.
anything.
Anything. Well, I would just like to thank you once again. It's just astounding what you do. Thank you once again. It's astounding what you do, and our city is so lucky to have you. I feel that there's such a rebirth and so much energy that we're getting back to the level that we had before the pandemic, and you're doing it with half the staff or a third of the staff. So I can't thank you enough. It's great for me and it's great for our community. Thank you.
Anything, Sid?
Vote.
Really?
Of
Because that's
the-
next
at
on the
least-
line, but isn't it?
No.
Vote required.
So it would be a make a motion. Someone would make a motion, someone would second it, and then you'd have to vote on the chair, vice chair, and then you would
We're
go
not done
to
with that yet.
Oh,
Commissioner
I
comments.
vote to, I
Uh,
propose.
A motion, I make a
A
motion.
motion to accept Sid and Justin as our next leaders.
I second that motion.
All in
All in
favor?
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, now commissioner comments, we can start it. Or,
Now I see staff comments.
staff
next?
comments.
Karen?
I think you've heard enough from us already tonight. So just thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a busy summer. So
Yeah.
busy summer for us programming wise and everything, but also with meetings with the old Capitol site. That's a big project for our team and we're really excited to have that. So thank you for your service and for helping us do that.
Thanks, Karen. Well, you, Shannon?
Sure, thank you. Again, we do anticipate bringing Old Capitol site to you. Tentatively July, we'll see. We're just going to have to review the survey results. They just closed June 7th. And that's one reason why you have not received more updates. So this might seem surprising, or you may not have expected this, but we're evaluating everything, and we're evaluating the environmental and all the different aspects, and you'll have a full presentation as to the entire site and all of that. So we anticipate making sure everyone, commission, public, community, has the full scope of what we're dealing with at that location. And it's actually 3 separate parcels, and just presenting the information and then bringing it back again for some sort of formal recommendation. And then we will determine if that goes to city council and how that goes to city council, because their next steps is much deeper, like environmental at that point, than just the overall. So lots of things, and it will be a very in-depth discussion on the Old Capitol site. So we want to make sure you guys feel comfortable, and everyone in the community feels comfortable that we've kind of addressed any questions and concerns and things like that, because we want to do it right. We will be reaching out to see if we can schedule visits to our camps with all of our commissioners and city council. We love having you. We'll be working on that. Like I said, there will be some facility updates. We're hoping to have an update for you about NCIP. Not sure. Obviously, any of the approved Parks and Recreation related projects will come back to commission at some point. We're not sure if that's August or September. So you'll get to see all of them and how they ranked. But we're excited to get some of those things moving forward, especially in terms of, Hilltop and potentially Jackson Solicitor. I'm not really sure how they shook out, but all of that definitely needs to be done. So we're excited, and we just, we're hoping for a very good, safe, successful summer. I mean, that's what we just went through a whole week of training with our staff, and focusing on having fun, but also being safe, because we do have, children as young as 3 and up to 18, and in a variety of activities and locations. And we've been so successful because of what we do. And, Camp Kinsabi is 72 summers this year. Day camp is right around 68, 69. The playground program is like 74 summers. I mean, we haven't done what we do without, knock on wood, being as good as being very focused on safety and making sure kids and multi generations of families have a good experience with us. So, yeah.
Shannon, do
Yes.
you know which of the Hilltop proposals was voted for? Or
Yeah. They were both voted for, but I think the number one, the one that ranked the highest was for $1 million. So, well, that's the big, so that was the one that was proposed by the neighborhood. So the one proposed by the neighborhood was a little bit smaller than the one that was proposed by the city.
by the city?
Yeah.
And the city one outranked the neighborhood one?
No, I think the neighborhood one outranked the city
Oh,
one.
okay.
Yeah.
But it may still have made cutoff.
Yes. Yes. I believe it was a high ranking, very high ranking project. So they're just now analyzing all the actual results and everything.
Okay.
There's some transitions and some things going on with NCIP this year, so it's going to take us a little while. But it seemed like a lot of our Parks and Rec projects did very well, or very popular. So yeah. So Louis is already kind of like staging his stuff, if he's going to have to get ready for ballpark lighting or for the shade structure. And he's already kind of getting things kind of staged so that we're ready to pull the trigger once we know things are approved and where we fall in the ranking of the projects and the cutoff projects. We're very fortunate to have Louis on the team because he really takes care of some of those park projects very quickly for us.
Thank you for such an incredible presentation. I mean, so thorough, and you filled in for the 2 missing quite well. I have a question on, you said that the seniors in Monterey are going to be growing from 35 to 45% of the population. I'd like to know what kind of studies have been done, or if there have been done, as to how to address the needs of a growing senior population here. And then my second question is, when are we going to do the basketball court via Paraiso?
Yeah. So I believe the Uprising project is funded, and I think it's just mainly finding either this parks time, staff time, or the engineering staff time, because it will be something that'll have to go out for bid. No, that has not happened yet. Yeah, but we definitely want that improvement to happen. In terms of the studies, no, I would say that the Parks and Rec Master Plan, which was done in 2016, 2017, did do a very good job of looking at the demographics and the, income levels and all of that. We do know a big portion of Monterey is renters, but we also know that we have a lot of homeowners and an aging population and their homeowners. And there's a lot of challenges and things that are coming our way, and recreation, because we do so much community services. We see some of that. For instance, when I'm at Schulte, I know that there's 4 senior women who are homeless and either living out of their car or an RV. I've worked with one gentleman who was very upset because he was sick and missed his income property tax payment, and he had budgeted for his property tax, but was overwrought because he couldn't pay the late fee. So our seniors definitely need our support. They may own a home, but they are cash poor. They're living on Social Security, and we know Social Security has not kept up with the times. And then we also have, I read something that Social Security is going to run out of money in 2033. And that will be huge because one of their solutions to that is to reduce rates back to like 1950 levels. And that will be devastating for a senior population, especially if they're dependent on Social Security. So because we work with the community, I mean, I'm getting a little choked up, but we see it, like it's concern. It's very real. And just the one reason too is like why we want a program at Montecito and Villa del Monte. It's because they need our services. And that's, so it is a challenge, and it's just being able to, like, hopefully I'm communicating that to you and it's being said in a public setting, and any chance you get to talk to someone else, spreading the word, getting that out. It is a concern where Schulte Center serves a different need than the Sports Center. So Sports Center does serve a need of all generations and seniors, but also maybe kind of a little bit of a more active senior. And we're definitely, we have Tap Bananas and other individuals who are in their 80s and 90s, and, we're are struggling to just, figure out the bureaucracy of Medicare and, all Social Security and the challenges that come with aging. So. Oh, yeah. Well, and yeah, I mean, we definitely, this is stuff we learned through California Parks and Rec Society, National NRPA, and Sarah Reed, our Schulte coordinator, is heavily involved in all of that. So we just, do our best.
I feel like the Monterey Parks and Recreation Department, and probably many Parks and Recreation departments, becomes kind of a Venn diagram where everything kind of overlaps with the Parks and Recreation Department. You're putting on so many different hats and meeting so many needs. So, and you're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon. Now, I'm not so rigid that I have to go exactly by this, but I want to make sure Bill and Louie aren't on remote, right? Because that would be their turn to speak, and they're not online. Okay, so I'm not cutting them off when I can call on each commissioner if they have any specific comments individually. Sanders, Commissioner Sanders, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to clarify for our purposes, as well as the purposes of the people who took the time to be here and talk about the old capital project. What is the timeline for further public participation and input on what will happen there?
Sure. So there's been multiple opportunities for input. We've had 2 surveys. One was the initial, what is your understanding? What do you think? Then we came back with, here's what that survey said, and here's some options. And so that was survey 2. And there's been 2 community engagement sessions at Casanova Oak Knoll, in addition to the email and the social media blasts and all of that. What will happen next, hopefully after we've evaluated everything, is a formal first-time public meeting, agendized just like this, where it would be a presentation, learning, listening session with everyone. And, if NCIP wanted to join in, they could as well. So that would be the first time that commissioners really have seen everything. And then it would be formal. Everyone in the community can attend either on Zoom or in person. And then again, hopefully that's July, just depending on how we can get a presentation together. And then August would be coming back. Hopefully we've answered your questions, you've heard from the community, and we can hold potentially a vote of the commission to make a recommendation to City Council. And then it would go to City Council ultimately for a decision or a recommendation. And then what needs to happen next for sure is it's a full environmental of that site. A very deep dive. What's happened is just kind of a surface level flora, fauna review. It needs to have a very deep dive environmental and also potential tribal. And then that will also give us a lot more information. And in a full environmental, we are talking about another RFP, probably $150,000, $200,000 to do a full environmental, but that has to be done before any groundbreaking, anything can be done in terms of trails, hiking, biking, anything, the environmental has to be addressed. It's 135 acres, but it's 3 separate parcels and they're all very different. And then they do have environmentally sensitive areas that we cannot touch. And it is bordered by the Navy and Chomp and other private properties. So you will have that all broken down. But yeah, it is 135 acres, but I would say 60% is not touchable potentially. Yeah.
For the environmental, are we, is it like baseline biological reports or CEQA? I don't want to say those words. Oh. So a full EIR? Okay.
Any other commissioners? No? Okay. Well, the next thing on my line, it says next regular meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission is scheduled for Wednesday, July 10th at 5:30. Adjournment, the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting is adjourned.